We are back again with Simran, one of my favorite people in the whole world. How are you,
I'm so delighted to be with you. I'm so excited to see your bright face and hear your voice and combine our hearts and just have a really beautiful conversation.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. And our viewers probably know you because they saw you before on the channel. Even still, I'm going to do a right and proper introduction because, family, we are with a legendary guest today.
Mm.
I like to really acknowledge your incredible work on the planet with 1111 and with being the 1111 lady, as your website says. I'm going to see if, being that I'm on my mobile device, I'm traveling and I don't have my computer with me. I'm in a huge learning lesson, Simran. So I have a couple of questions of my own for you today
Okay,
about
that's good.
science. So
Good.
I'm going to see if I can share the screen. And if not, it's all good because let's see. Okay, it looks like I might not be able to share the screen. But what I'm going to do is I am going to go from what I know about Simran. How's that? That you are a humanitarian, that you speak up for children, that you have an incredible journey of unfoldment with your own life and your family, and as you say, pain and turbulence and coming through all that to be a have a one woman show, to speak all over the world, to be the author of the book Signs by Sacred Stories Publishing, and to be the author of the trilogy. You're an award winning author, a powerhouse spiritual teacher. Welcome.
Oh,
Welcome
well,
to my
thank you.
house.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's a delight to be here. And, with all that I've done, I've really just been moving forward step by step each day, trying to be as present as I possibly could and taken every challenge and every pebble, rock, and boulder that's come in my way and thought, how can I be with this? What's it here to teach me? And how can I make use of it for greater good? And that's the invitation that I give everyone as they move forward in their life. Be with what's with you in the moment, make use of it, and then transform it to serve a greater good.
I love that. I love that. So you're the 1111 lady. You are the founder of the 1111 magazine. You know all about signs. You saw 1111 in our last conversation. You told us that you saw 1111 over and over and over and over again. So tell us about 1111. What is 1111? What are signs? Why should we pay attention?
Yeah, I would love to start by saying that this new book, Signs Sacred Encounters with Pathways, Turning Points, and Divine Guideposts, is really important at this time because more and more people are becoming aware of things that are in their surroundings, even more so than when I wrote my first book back in 2013 called Conversations with the Universe. And I think that the key thing to understand about that first book and now this second book, which kind of picks up where that one left off, is that I've used signs as my personal growth path. It has probably been the most significant way that I have grown spiritually out of everything. I've read a gazillion books. I've not been one to do too many trainings or workshops, but I have read a lot. And really, the thing that has helped me grow the most has been asking myself the questions that I tell people to ask themselves when it comes to signs and noticing the things in their environment. And 1111, when it came to me, those four ones signified two different things. First and foremost, they signified the four pillars of personal growth: the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. And how 1111 was simply a symbol for the gateway to walk through to grow and expand ourselves into personal power and greater peace. But the ones also signify each one of us individually, that we are the ones. We are the ones that the world is waiting for. We are the ones that can make the change. And that comes by being present to our lives, to ourselves, and being aware enough to notice when the universe is tapping us on the shoulder repeatedly with the same thing without having to get knocked over or slammed down with the spiritual 2x4. So, my goal is so that people will notice the signs so they don't have to get into the bigger signs that hurt a little bit
Mhm.
badly. And if you start to notice the little signs along the way, you really are led on your path. And it doesn't necessarily mean that life is going to be easy, because I don't think we came to Earth for that reason. I think we came here to master this planet, to master duality, to master physicality. And so the more you master, of course, just like if you go into a gym, you're not going to pick up lighter weights. You're not going to stay at the same weight. The more you master at a gym, you're going to pick up more weight. And that's what we do as spiritual masters. We surmount certain mountaintops, and then we're going to find another one that we have to climb, like you just did, from what I hear.
Simran, I was saying, we were saying in the pre-show, family, for everyone who's watching, and welcome, 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 Layla. Layla, I haven't seen you in forever. It's so good to see you. I'm just looking at the chat. We were talking about before we went live how I had a confession that I bit off more than I could chew. It's my confession. And while I learned a lot from it, I am going to choose to do things differently the next go around. So I did get a couple of signs. And one of the big signs that I received after the retreat was completed, we did back to back retreats. It was Thailand and then it was Dubai. And both of these are just huge, huge energy. And while we're in Dubai this week, not only did we have the new moon, we also had the spring equinox, and we also had the start of Ramadan.
You picked a
And
doozy of a week.
wow. So what do these signs mean? What are these what can you tell us about these signs?
Well, I mean, planetarily, if you look at everything that's going on, it is a really emergent time for a lot of shifting. And so anything that is unlike light right now, it is coming up and out, and it is asking us to be in full alignment. And this particular spring equinox and new moon, it really was the beginning of all beginnings. So if you thought you've started something in the past, that was just a little start. This is asking for the big start. It's asking you to put on your big girl, big boy panties, to show up in the truth of who you are, to start walking in alignment, really walking the words that you are saying to everyone else rather than just saying them to everyone else. And because of this, we see another symbol. And that was this week, we had 5 planets line up right in a row.
Whoa.
And that is the symbol of alignment. And planets
Mm.
represent the different parts of us, the different parts of our psychology. And so we're being asked to really line up all aspects of who we are so that we move forward in a place where we don't create the unorthodox signs, which is going to be a later segment that we will talk about, but that we do create the signs that actually lead us forward. And so I think it's beautiful that you did a retreat at this time, because there's an opportunity to really let go of anything that is not the truth of who we are, or to let go of the things that have been the addictions, have been the baggage, have been the shadows. And hopefully many of the people that you were in retreat with were able to do that, so that they could open the door to the new person that's going to move forward in life as of now. Because this whole year is about introspection and really amping up those energies. We're in a 7 universal year, which is really about going inward and truly discovering, what does my heart want? What does my soul want? Am I living in alignment to those things instead of the ego? And so you're going to encounter a lot of signs in your outer life that are going to point in that direction. And anytime you come up against a brick wall, anything of resistance, anything that's tripping you up, it's only because you're not really following your heart and following your soul calling. And so this is life's subtle way of saying, stop for a second. It's time to shift and move down a different pathway. Or this experience of a divorce, or this experience of losing a job, or having to move, this is your turning point. This is the direction now that we want you to go. And to notice all of those divine guideposts. That's why the title of the book, subtitle of the book, is Sacred Encounters with Pathways, Turning Points, and Divine Guideposts, because the signs will send you down one of these 3 things.
Wow. I think I experienced all of those.
You probably did. You planned a lot in there, and then you also brought people in, so I would imagine that you encountered all kinds of things.
Oh my goodness. And I think I want to go for the jugular of transformation, like I want to transform. I want to uh really go deep, really have profound shifts in consciousness and really be a point that emanates the light that allows for other people to do it too. And sometimes in my eager and enthusiasm, I just go for a lot. I go for a lot. So when the retreat was over, the sign I got was be still.
Yes.
And
Yes.
at first, I was just going to still be in motion. It was be still. And Simran, I slept
Mm.
like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I kept sleeping. And then every time I turned around, I was sleepy again. I would just go right back to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, if I look back on my journey too, I was very much the same way, Valerie. It's like I was hungry. I just wanted to be my best self. I just wanted to gobble up everything I could, and I wanted to look inside myself and carve out every piece of darkness and every thing that was a miscreation, and just really be in my purest light. And now when I look back at that, I go, "Oh my goodness, I was so violent to myself.
Mm,
I was so hard
mm,
on myself. I pushed myself so much. Where was the love in that? Where was the tenderness? Where was the gentleness? Where was the sweetness in all of that?"
mm.
And I think we live in a very fast-paced world that pushes us to go, 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 go. And we are here now to be a stiller, calmer mountain that knows how to ground. And I think that that's why this 7 year is so important, because it really does tell us almost in the face that universally, I need humanity to slow down, to get still, to anchor a little bit more, and really be where they are. And if we would do that, I think we would see the signs, we would rest, we would be still, but most importantly, we'd give the universe a chance to catch up with us.
I'm not always good at that. That's been one of my big lessons is stillness and presence. And one of the recurring mantras I hear from inner self is be here now.
Yeah,
Be here
yeah.
now.
And
Mhm.
I think that signs will continuously come to support that. We have 2 types of signs that come. We have that whole bucket of signs that makes us smile and makes our heart feel warm and makes us wanna run out and call a friend and say, "You won't believe what just happened. I just got a sign." And, those are gonna be things like hummingbirds and butterflies, or the title of a
Mhm.
book, or a song on the radio, or just the right phrase at the right moment said by someone. And those are beautiful things. But if you really think about those signs when they show up, because we're in a fast-paced society, what we do tend to do is get really excited in the moment, share it with a few people, and then we throw it over our shoulder and we keep on moving. We
Mm.
don't necessarily bask in it. We don't necessarily sit in the sign to say, is there a deeper message here for me? What was I thinking when this sign showed up? How might the universe have my back according to what I was thinking? And really allow ourselves to completely be nourished by what the universe has just fed us. And because we don't do that, we create the other bucket of signs. And those are the unorthodox signs. Those are sometimes things like a burst pipe in the basement, or a fender bender in the car, or a trip being all of a sudden canceled because the flight is not going. Or it might be that, a transaction didn't go through in your bank. So all these different kinds of things that show up that, for the human mind gets us really frustrated and upset.
Mhm.
But in
Mhm.
truth, those things are simply trying to, number one, make us pause, and number two, pivot us in a different direction. They're trying to be either a turning point or a pathway that's unfolding for us. But again, it's for us to pause and to check in with our emotional well-being as to whether we're being reactive or responsive. So there is so much to learn through signs, and that's why I think it's such a beautiful, simple personal growth path that anyone can utilize to reach those places of presence and awareness and even enlightenment if they allow themselves.
I love that because when you say orthodox signs, I remember from our first conversation that there are no bad signs,
Mm-mm.
right? So, no ominous signs. They're all helpful, they're all loving, they're all a loving message, right? Um, One of our retreat attendees, when she left Dubai, she had a connection that was going to take her to Paris. And she was so happy because she had never been to Paris before. She was going to see the Eiffel Tower for the first time. And we do know that there are some energy movements happening right now in Paris. And so even the king decided not to Paris,
Right.
but she didn't know about these things. And so when she got on the plane to leave Dubai, the plane left 3 hours late. The plane was delayed so
Mm,
that her connection, she was going to connect in Turkey to fly to Paris. She missed the connection. 5 people missed the connection. One
mm.
of those people, so they were talking with each other. One of those people lives in Paris and told her, "You ought to be glad that we missed our connection to Paris
Yeah.
because I don't even want to go home right now." So she got to see that at first she was just drats, you know, how we get in that, my plan has been foiled, you know,
Yes.
because
Yes.
she wanted to see the Eiffel Tower. And she's been wanting to see the Eiffel Tower for a long time. And she thought that she finally was going to be able to see the Eiffel Tower, and the universe, in its love and
Mhm.
care, wouldn't bring her from Thailand to Dubai, 2 retreats to bring her into the middle of all this going on in Paris now. So she
Yeah.
was in Turkey for a couple of days having a delightful time and then got home.
Yes, yes, and it's so perfect not only because she didn't end up somewhere where she may have had a difficult time, but after all of the energy and the insight and the experience of the retreats, life knew she needed space to integrate. Like, we
Mhm.
really are on life support. It's
Wow.
always there. It is
Mhm.
continuously conspiring on our behalf. It is our perception and the way we look at life that needs to shift. And so, what if everything that is happening is good? And what if the most challenging things are actually the best signs? And that's what I want people to understand when they pick up this book. I talk about all kinds of different signs in the first section of the book. And I do even go into the bad omens, the ones that we think are really, really bad, devilish, evil, that kind of thing. I have a story in the book about a church who moved, and the address was 666, and it really caused a parishioner a lot of difficulty because she was just appalled that a church would have 666 associated with it. When in fact 666 is a beautiful angel number, and it is a very
Mm.
powerful angel number, not only meaning abundance, but to be a place of light that draws people in. So it actually was the ideal number for
That
for where
that's a
this church
tall
was
order
going
for a
to
lot of
be.
Christians because we grew up 666
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
Antichrist.
But that's
Yeah.
Hollywood's conditioning. See, that's where
Yeah.
we don't realize we pick up on this conditioning and then we start to believe it. And our beliefs then create our perspectives of how we view the world. And so that first section helps you understand everything from the signs that you might think, oh, I knew that those were signs, to types of signs that you would never have imagined were signs. And the second section is filled with stories of other people and all their encounters and how they interpreted signs, so that you don't have to think you're crazy because a hummingbird keeps showing up at your window and knocking on it, or you keep seeing 1111 50 times a week. You don't have to think that you're an oddball on this planet. You will see that people everywhere are having their own signs. And the third section teaches you how to develop your conversation with the universe, how to deepen your intuition, how to trust it, how to connect the dots so that you realize that it's not just this one aha moment of a sign that makes you happy in a second, but that sign connects to the next one, connects to the next one, and creates a conversation for you, an actual dialogue that's leading you somewhere. And so there's so much to learn about the unseen that if we just take moments to pause and begin to discover that we really already have this intimate connection, we've just never allowed ourselves to be in partnership in that way.
Mm. So this intimate connection, what you're saying is that your spiritual path has been primarily led by signs.
That's it. It's just
Wow,
been
that's
signs.
profound.
It's just been signs. And, with every sign that appears to me, I take that sign inside and I use that as a mirror. I use that as a way to
Mm,
strengthen my intuition, to ask, what is this message? And it has allowed me to come to a place that I don't run outside of myself looking for the answers. I don't run after people or try to get taught by someone. I don't um, doubt myself anymore. What signs will do is, number one, let you know that you're not alone, that you have an
mm,
entire universe at your back. The second thing that signs are going to do is help you develop trust, because you might not realize it, but you probably don't trust life very much. You probably don't trust a whole lot of people. You probably don't trust the universe in the beginning. Most importantly, you don't trust yourself. That's why you're running everywhere
mm,
else for the answers. And so
mm,
by creating this partnership with signs, what's going to happen is you're going to develop a sense of trust with how life is showing you where to go and how you are intuiting those messages. And that's going to create a strong inner authority so that you feel secure, regardless of whether or not anyone else is around. And that's a very powerful place to stand, because then you can take any leap forward and experience any kind of outcome. And you can keep it all very light. You don't have to have the waves that take over your mind and your emotional body. All of a sudden, okay, I know now to just look for the next sign. I know now what to ask the universe in this moment so that I can continue the dialogue. And that's really where our connection should be right now. Having a conversation with the universe, or God, if you want to call it that, or love, or source, or your soul, whatever you want to see it as, that is what is prompting the signs for you.
mm. I love that. Now, question. I have two animal totems that have been sending me signs my entire life, the elephant and the butterfly. So I
Yes.
have this intimate connection with the elephant and the butterfly. And in Thailand, we swam with elephants. We knew we were going to go to the elephant thingy. So I got to be in this very intimate experience with the elephant. And then we went to Dubai and we went to the butterfly garden and I got to be in this intimate experience with the butterfly. Simran, a butterfly landed on my
I
finger.
saw the video.
Then another one,
Saw that.
then one landed here. And then another one landed on my head and stayed there literally for about 20 minutes. This butterfly did not move from my head. I've never seen anything like that, never experienced anything like that. So, what are these signs after these animals have been talking to me all my life?
Hmm. Just intuitively, what comes to me, and I'll say first, we all have general meanings to signs that will apply across the board. And then the deeper you go into learning about your own signs, you're going to develop your own personal dialect. So we might both come across a place where there is an elephant, and it's going to mean one thing to you, and it's going to mean one thing to me if we go deeper into the dialect. I kind of feel like I have an understanding of what these messages are saying to you. You will have to decide whether this resonates or not. The elephant is a very maternal being. It cares for its young. It is the type that wants to nurture and nourish. And so to me, the elephant symbol is really a constant reminder to you to nurture and nourish, to allow the good things to come into your life by taking the time to care for the young meaning the inner self, the inner child. And then the butterfly, the typical meaning of that is transformation. So that automatically is something that, of course, took place during this retreat. But with the way that it kept landing on you, the word that came to me was gentle, gentle, gentle.
Ah,
Move gently,
mm,
move softly, land softly. So to me, they're more about uh, allowing yourself to move at a gentler, softer pace where you're also nurturing yourself. And that kind of goes back to how we began this conversation with you needing to sleep right after these retreats, or how you are someone that goes, goes, goes because you have the energy and you have the uh, vibrancy to be able to do that. But so often, individuals like yourself, I'm very much an introvert. For extroverts, you do have to consciously pull yourself back and remind yourself. Otherwise, that battery is going to run dry at a certain point, and then that's when the really big signs show up.
that's exactly right. You know, that was pretty much what you just described is pretty much how I used to live my life when I was in my 20s. And
Mm,
my first husband, I would just run, 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 rescue people, help people, always the one people would call because I would do the nurturing and all of that and the saving and whatnot to my own detriment. And I remember there was something my husband used to say. There were two things my first husband used to say to me, and he was spot on. He used to say, "Oh, there she goes again, Florence Nightingale. She's got to save the world." That was his nickname for me. That I was Florence Nightingale, that nurse that would just nurse everyone and help everyone during the war. Right? I think she was during the war. And the second thing he used to say to me, and it invariably, when he would say this, it would come true within days. He said, "There she goes again, burning the candle at both
both
ends."
ends.
And next thing you know, about within days, literally, Simran, within 2 to 3 days, I would be laid out in the bed
Mm.
for about 2 to 3 days because I had just exhausted and depleted myself. So, since that was such a not fun experience, over the years, I learned okay, don't burn the candle at both ends. Don't yet, because I know that it's sort of a default system. I'm more default toward activity, and I'm
Mhm.
more remind myself of stillness. I see myself, sometimes it can still happen. And I saw, even at the retreats, and I took some time for myself. I just
Right.
withdrew and I just was still and listening. And so it's a practice for me. It's a practice for me.
It has
Yeah.
to be. I've always been the consummate creator. I love to create. It fills me with a lot of energy to do so, but it's something that I get lost in. And so, time becomes timeless and a whole day can go by and I won't realize that that many hours have passed because I've become so immersed in the writing or the painting or whatever I'm partaking in. And the signature sign for me that I'm moving towards exhaustion is my tires will lose air.
Oh, really?
Whenever my tires all of a sudden drastically lose air, I know that my car is telling me, "You are about to hit exhaustion. It's time to fill
Wow.
it." And that has become a regular way of understanding my levels because I can get as a Pisces, I can get lost in my creativity. And so that's
Mm,
part of that dialect that I was talking about, that when you really start to get a handle on what your signs are and how the universe is in partnership with you, you will notice these repetitions. You will notice that there's certain signature things that start to happen that kind of tell you something. Another one is when I am ready to write another book, and I know that I'm not the type that goes and looks for publishers or wants to do the marketing or those kinds of things, but I do want to immerse myself in the writing of the book. I will get a certain sign that says, "Don't worry, the publisher will come to you." And then I will
mm,
start writing the book, and it always happens. And so once you know how to communicate with the universe and you begin trusting and you begin intuiting and learning how to invite that conversation in stronger and stronger ways, you will see that you're actually having a dialogue, and it will be one that turns into knowing for you over time.
mm. Shanika Johnson says, "Wow, good one." And Shanika is We know her well. She's in the mystery school, and she likes that sign with the tires because some people would see that as an ominous sign. Oh, my tires are going low again. Yet you're paying such close attention that you know, and you know the dialect, and
Yeah,
your unique, individualized conversation with the universe, that the universe is talking to us all the time in a language we understand.
exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. And, you know, it makes a difference whether it's a front tire or a back tire. That changes the conversation.
Does it really?
It makes a difference if it's the left side or the right side. That changes
Oh,
the conversation. So you'll learn all of the little tweaks in your conversation as to what that really means for you. And that's what the book is really here to help people get to start to trust their own dialogue with life and the universe, and to start to regulate their emotions so that when the unorthodox signs do show up, they realize these are showing up for your good. They're not showing up to slow you down, to frustrate you, to anger you, because life has it in for you. They are showing
mm.
up to actually lead and guide you to the life that your heart keeps calling for. So will you stop for a second, listen, and ask, what does this mean? What is it trying to show me? What is it trying to bring up from within me as my gifts, skills, and talents? Where is it trying to point me? And you will find lots of answers start to come.
Oh my goodness, I love that. I love that. Now, I heard you say word several times in this conversation that is the core of a lesson that I'm in right now: trust.
Mm,
So I saw a vision of myself going around the world. I was going abroad overseas. And I had in my hand my phone in one hand and my passport in the other. And that was it, no luggage. So I did that. When I left for this trip, I said, okay, Spirit, I'm going to do it. I am going to trust that everything I require is going to show up as I require it, when I require it, and I am going to follow what I saw. I did that. I left with zero luggage, and earrings came to me, head wrap, clothes, even underwear, lipstick, lip gloss. I didn't bring makeup, and I'm a makeup gal. I like earrings. I like doodads. I like getting spiffy and having fun with clothes. Simran, I had such a good time allowing all these things to come to me. And it was so fun. And it was probably the biggest trust exercise that I have done intentionally in this inner conversation with the universe that that deepened me into what you said, we're all on life support. So what can you tell us about trust?
You know,
Trusting the signs, right?
yes. I did a similar thing years ago when I decided to go on an RV and do a one woman show around the country. And I didn't plan it, I didn't promote it, I didn't even plan the show, I didn't have the RV, I didn't have anything. I wanted the universe to prove to me and others that the signs really do guide us and that everything is provided. And I had the same experience that you just described, where different things just appeared. Even the RV just appeared a week before the trip was to happen. And the first thing that we have to do is go into that space really innocently and openly, but with some sense of belief that this is going to happen. You know, there was a belief that you had that it would happen. You didn't go in there just saying, "I'm gonna see if it happens." You went in
Mhm.
there saying, "I know it's gonna happen, so I'm gonna trust enough to do this," and then it did. What is interesting about your experience in trust is if that is the headband that came to you, it's red. If that is the lipstick that came to you, it's red. I saw a picture on your Facebook or Instagram page, and you were in an outfit and it was red. The color for trust is red.
Wow. Root
That's
chakra?
the symbol. It's root chakra, but it's it is the color that means trust. And
Mm.
so, even in the symbology, even in what came to you, the universe was saying, yes, trust. Yes, trust all of this. And I think that the universe did that to not only support you, but to support the people around you in seeing what's possible, because that's part of what you teach in regards to manifestation and different things. And so we're all used in some way to spread a message, and we have to live by that message. That goes back to what I said in the beginning. We have to align to our words, we have to walk our talk. And when we do, the universe will support that. But we have
Mm.
to put ourselves out there. And what I can tell you will happen is either you will get what you want because you're in alignment, or you won't get what you want because something's out of alignment. Either
Mm.
way, you won because you get the chance to get into alignment and get something great afterward. And so if you just follow whatever the sign is that comes, you will see that it becomes your personal growth path. It will show you where you need to lean one way or lean the other. It'll show you where you need to straighten. It'll show you the false beliefs that you carry. It'll show you everything about yourself.
Including when to take a nap, when to
Yes.
withdraw, when to sleep, when to be still. I'm really paying attention to that conversation with the
Yes.
universe because it's just saving me so much. And I no longer desire to ignore signs and then have the big ones.
Yeah.
Those
You can have the pebbles, the rocks, or the boulders, and trust me, you don't want the boulders.
we I've had a few of those. I'm okay with not ever having any more boulders. I'm okay with those. Oprah calls it, you could take the feather and
Mm,
then maybe you have a brick and then you have the whole building fall on you. So it's like, okay, let me stay at, a feather.
yes.
Can I be easily correctable? Am I present enough to life? To this I call it the perfecting presence.
Yes.
Yes. Am I
Yes.
present enough to it that I am getting the message without, I mean, if I was talking to a friend and a friend said something to me, I wouldn't ignore the friend. So why am I ignoring the universe?
Exactly. Exactly. And if you're not present, the universe will use signs to get you present. When you are present, you're going to discover that synchronicity happens in every single moment and that miracles abound. And so, this gift of presence is a byproduct of you following the signs and allowing yourself to be in the moment when they show up.
I love it. So now we've been talking about the book, and of course, we're going to link the book below. What is your favorite thing about this book? As I write books, I fall in love with the book. How is your writing process? Is there a point where you just fall in love with it, or are you in love with it from the idea, or how does it work for you? And tell us about your new baby. I call them
Yes,
babies,
yes.
but
I love all of my books, and I find that I fall more and more in love with them, each one that I write, because they're me. They're my heart and my soul. They are an extension of my expression. And so it's always an honor when someone gets the book and holds it, because I feel like they're also holding me, or I'm holding them at the same time. I would say the favorite part about this book is the extension of what I've learned beyond the book Conversations with the Universe. The first book really did expansively go into signs in a way that I've never seen any other place share. And it really illustrates how everything is a sign, and particularly how our animals and our children and our homes and our cars and even the seasons, like they all are speaking to us in a certain way. And I break that down, but in this particular book, with the 10 years that passed, I've grown so much. And I go into conversations about balancing our masculine and feminine energies, or
mm,
the bigger picture, and how we can serve by really anchoring into who we are and allowing the signs to then serve something bigger. And so, that's part of the rebel humanitarian in me. I think we are here to serve ourselves and to grow to the greatest capacity that we are. And when we do that, we end up serving the world. And so that's the part that I'm excited for people to read, because I think they'll get a sense of the bigness of who they are as they move through discovering the signs. They'll realize that these signs are not just coming to them from outside of them, and not these things that are separate from them, but the signs are them, and they are.
Mm. Wow, wow. And just like magic and synchronicity, that always happens. You got the perfect publisher working with Sacred Stories Publishing for signs. And then how did that come about? How was that experience? Did it come about as all your books do? Just the perfect publisher appears in front of you to publish the books at the perfect time. How did that work?
I do think that they are the perfect publisher for this book. It's a beautiful series. Congratulations on yours. I'm excited to read which when it comes out. I think October. Is that the
October.
earliest? October, the
October. The
2023.
launch
It's
party is going
something.
to be on my birthday in Salem, Massachusetts on
Oh, that's
Wednesday,
so
October 4th.
fantastic.
It's going to be so
Signs
fun.
actually launched on my birthday. Look at that.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I
Yes,
love
yes.
it.
So these
Oh,
babies are really being infused with our energy as they come out. And, I think it's a beautiful series. The whole entire series allows individuals to see not only what the subject matter is and how to attain that, but I think the incorporation of a lot of other people and their stories really helps bring it home that this is now a time where all of these things are everywhere, happening to many people. And those that were in the spiritual closet can finally come out. Yes,
hiding out in the closet,
that's
seeing
right. Whispering
222
to a friend, don't
444.
tell anyone this is what I saw. You don't want anyone to know. Because no one will believe me. They'll think I'm
No
crazy.
one will believe me.
The truth is we're all
or
crazy. So,
right, right. Or the people around me will think that are you taking your meds? They'll start asking me questions like that because I'm seeing 222. I keep looking up, in our last conversation, we talked about that. My mother left me the number 222 and it was everywhere. It was everywhere. It was everywhere. It was everywhere. And I started taking pictures because I knew people would not believe me if I told them all
yeah.
the places I saw 222. And you know what's very fascinating about how it happened too? It is almost like an energetic tug. Like I would be looking this way, and all of a sudden I just turn that way, and there would be 222.
Yes, and that's how the signs actually appear. What happens sometimes when people read about signs and symbols, they start looking like they're just out there looking, "Where's my sign?" It doesn't work that way. It's like it's like your body kind of knows all of a sudden to look a certain direction. It's kind of like you're driving down the highway and you happen to look up and there's this billboard that has a certain word or a certain number. That's how it happens. Your eye lands on something, your ear hears something, something gets put in your hands. That's how the beginning of the signs conversation starts. And then the more you get into it, then you learn, that it just pops up and you kind of smile every time it does, just like with your 222. But you can't go looking for a sign. It's got to come find you.
It's almost like magic where we talk about, you do some kind of magic or some kind of intention setting with the universe or spells or candle or something that lets the universe know what you're looking for. Then we release it. You don't look for it. Is that it? Is that it? Because it has an energy of almost doubt,
Yeah,
fear, maybe it's going to
exactly.
happen, right?
Yes, and a conversation takes two. So in the way that you're talking about with the candle or the prayer, to ask for a sign, to then receive the sign, and rather than just sitting there and waiting and saying, "Okay, what do I do next?" You have to be the other part of that conversation. So either you have to take an action, which is usually what the sign is prompting, or ask for something else so that you get clarity, but there has to be both of you in the conversation, not just the universe. And I think that that's probably the shadow feminine side of men and women when they go looking for signs is they sit there and ask, but then they do nothing and
Mm.
they wait and they just keep wanting things to be showered on them. But our masculine side is the inspired action side. It has to participate in this conversation to keep our healthy receptivity of the feminine going.
I love that masculine and feminine. I love it. So, as we bring this conversation to a close, what do you want to leave with everyone about signs?
I would
You're
say
the 1111 lady. You know all about the signs.
Well, and I see Layla just commented that she sees 1111, 222, 333, 444 all the time. And that is something that will start to happen. So if you've not been one that has noticed the signs up until now, don't be surprised if after this conversation you do start seeing 1111 or you do start seeing 11 or 22 or 33. Those are universal prompts just to say continue on your path. Now we understand that you've connected with us and you will start to see more and more signs. I think that it's a time where we can open our eyes to a world that is magical and mysterious, and we can touch the mystical. And with everything in the world that seems dark and of duality, for that to occur, we also have the equivalent that is wonder and innocence and magic. And so you have to decide where you want to put your energy and your focus. And I invite you to put your energy and your focus on the signs, to have the sacred encounters, to walk down different pathways, to let life have its turning points, and to utilize every single one of your divine guideposts for your good and the greater good of all. So I hope everyone gets the book. I know they'll love
I
it. I guarantee
oh
you will see life in a whole new way and you'll never look at it the same again.
uh, not to mention reading all the stories from people who have written in also about their science with the universe. I love that. Of course, your wisdom is just the gem of the book, and then to hear other stories too about signs. Where can people find you online so that they will absolutely visit you and mingle in your world?
Oh, absolutely. You can, my website is iamsimran.com, so you can find me there. I do have the special bundle between Conversations with the Universe and Signs and some free gifts if you get the bundle. So you might want to check that out. And then you can find me on Instagram or Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of the places that are social. And if you want to pick up the book, it's available anywhere that books are sold: Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Chapters. Or you can go to the Sacred Stories website and find the book there as well.
I love it. We're going to link everything down below. Simran, thank you so much for being a bright light on the planet and for coming and visiting us. I love when you come and visit us and share your wisdom. And thank you for helping us deepen into trust, especially trust in the signs. Thank
Yes.
you. I love you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me and good wishes to the entire community. Thank you for being part of this conversation. I look forward to seeing you again and have a fabulous time where you are. Get some rest.
Yes, ma'am. It's a wrap.